Hey Marcus,
Hey Mick, good morning.
how are you?
Oh, you're in Canada,
No, but I wish I was.
in the mountains.
So my background is my aspirational location. My
Great.
real location is much more boring than that. So
Well, you showed me once the cat.
what's up?
You showed me once the cat sitting on the
Yeah,
sofa.
yeah. The cat is still sitting back behind me back here. So it's not bad. I mean, today is pretty nice. So we're expecting, what is it, 25 C for the
Seriously?
for the highs today, something like that.
Oh, wow.
So what is it, 75-ish, something like that,
Well,
if I'm
we
doing my math
two,
right.
two
So
weeks ago, we had super sunny sunshine weather. I was walking outside in t-shirt and shorts, like max in Zurich 28 degrees.
hmm
And yesterday I was walking the dog through the forest, through the snow.
Hey, come on, it's Zurich. What do you expect?
It's so weird. I mean, this is really April weather. I
It
don't know.
really, yep,
We also have this saying that the weather in April is like a total disaster sometimes. It does
right.
whatever it wants, and I mean, this is clearly the case.
All right, Prakash, we have you here. You
Hi,
wanna go
everybody.
ahead and
Good morning.
um
Hey, good
I'm
morning.
hoping Bruno is able to make it today. I know Marcella is not. Um,
Is Michael not
but
joining this calls?
sometimes he does it, sometimes he doesn't.
Yeah.
He shows as out of the office, right, or as not available right now. But
Okay, so are
let
we
me just.
switching people?
So I think we can go ahead and get started, and we'll see if Bruno comes. Yeah, Bruno just told me he's on his way, so he'll be here shortly. And let me just check with Michael. Drinking. We had a very interesting issue yesterday. So Prakash, did you have to oh, Michael says he's on the Grameen call this morning, so we're not going to get him. There is no lack of conflicts, I guess. So we'll see if he's trying to do some stuff over there with addressing some potential replay attacks in Grameen. So it's kind of important for him to be
Oh,
there.
wow.
So so if you use um, the what is it, the trusted file system that's associated with Grameen. I mean, Grameen claims nothing about replay attacks, right? But so there's no there's no violation of what the security principles are for it. But it turns out that there are some ways we could prevent some replay attacks in the trusted file system, and so Michael's been working on that. So it actually looks it's kind of cool his ideas for it. So
Well, I hope that he's not suggesting the same thing what he was suggesting for FPC, that essentially you write everything in a single file instead of multiple files, and then you do this
no,
mix mix.
I I don't I don't think that's it. I think it's related to the fact that Grameen is already doing for manifest verification is already doing creates a Merkle tree over the files in the trusted file
Hmm.
system. And then um, so they create it to do the initial load and integrity check, but then never check it again. And it turns out that if you have it available to you, you actually can recheck it. Anyway, so that's the gist of it. It's like I said, it's kind of it's a relatively small change that adds some really nice features. So that's why he's not here. He's putting out fires over there. So
I see.
Prakash, do we have a specific, but okay, could you point me to
first
the,
thing, so first,
could you
first
point me
thing,
to the document?
y-
Just
yeah,
paste the
so,
chat.
yeah, so first question is, do everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so are we seeing the private data object community meeting Google Docs? I hope I'm not sharing
Yes.
something else. Okay, good.
Nope,
Thank you
you
so
got it.
much. Okay, I see Mick joined. Okay, given that this meeting is being recorded, first things first, this is a community meeting, so all contributions are welcome. Please do not share confidential information, right? So, and right, so this is about the Hyperledger Labs, private data objects, and the PDO contracts repo. We are discussing both software repositories in this meeting. Right, and so I'm scrolling down to what we had. Okay, Bruno is already an attendee. That's good. What we had last time. So, quick questions to everybody. Do we have anything from last meeting that we should be discussing now? I think, can we say that all the issues around enhancing PDO to better support EPID has now been taken care of?
Well, yeah, it was pushed.
Right.
It's
So
pushed and merged.
yeah,
But-
so good. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So I was going to
I
say
have a
that
related
Mick,
question.
yes,
but-
yes, Mick, I thought one question you wanted to discuss was that can we tag PDO now, and you wanted to discuss in this call.
Yeah, I wanted to, it feels like we're at a stage where we should be looking at tagging a new release. So
Marcus is very good at that.
at tagging or at contemplating new
Tagging.
releases. So what I wanted to do is just kind of go through the set of issues, and the question is, what do we need? What do we want in before we go to 0.3? I think that the biggest issue that we addressed was the harbor mode for Docker. That's the big update for it. But if we go through the list of issues, are there others that we would like to get resolved before we tag?
And when we do that, can we focus on the functionality perspective and not I mean, yes, I would like to really focus on things that are like real bugs kind of issues and focus less on documentation and other kind of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few easy ones that we could knock off if we wanted to. 484 and 444 in the issues list were two that would be relatively straightforward cleanups if we wanted to do that. There are, Bruno, you have 3 in there, I think, or 2. No, there's 3. There's 473, 474, and 479 that are related to the PDOTP.
Yeah.
What's your feeling about that? I mean, we have, well, are those ones that we can, I mean, these are all TP, there are 4 big TP related issues, or I guess 3 big TP related issues. One's the documentation, and the other 2 are kind of managing the TP and its internal state.
Yeah, so I just changed 476 from a bug to enhancement because it is not a bug if you assume that the TP is a single node TP. It is
Wait, what are
about
you talking about 476? 476 is,
I know
is different.
474. 474. I think
As I say,
474.
476 is a very different.
Yeah.
thing.
Sorry. I just meant to say 474. 474. I changed it from bug to enhancement because it is a change in TP that we need to do if we need to support the liveness aspect of TP in a multi-node TP deployment. It is so it is
Okay,
not going to
and have
affect
you-
the TP safety, but it's more of a liveness issue.
Okay, and would you add that comment in there?
Yeah, I can add.
If you're
it.
making that change, then at least add the comment to go along with it.
Yeah, changed. Yeah, I'll do that right away.
Okay. And Bruno, what do you think about the rest of this? I mean, like I said, there's little stuff that we could or couldn't do. I don't really care about the other ones, but I want to make sure that we feel like we have a sufficiently robust hardware mode implementation that we can use.
So I think that most of these issues are related to multi-node deployments of the transaction
CCF.
processor,
Yeah.
right? So basically, until we do that, I mean, they're not really an issue. I guess this can also be addressed in the upcoming release.
Okay. Need to go through and a couple of these that are. It would be good to go through and mark these as bugs and enhancements a little more aggressively. All right. So is there anything else on this list that you feel like needs to be in there? Or what I'm hearing is there's nothing in this list that seems critical as a blocker for tagging.
Something that says that something is currently broken, I don't think so. I don't think so. Like even the base name, I think the implication there is that you have to pass the EPID credentials to everybody in order to be able to verify the attestations in the TP. But if you use a single transaction processor, single node, yeah, I guess it's not a problem.
Okay, so there's clearly some enhancements that we need for the TP to move to the multi-node CCF. So can we
Multi-node
just,
/ multi-party or multi-org, something like that.
okay, so if I do, I hate this. It would be nice to have projects not be quite such a pain in the butt. All right, I'll take a look at either labeling or creating a project to put some of those issues against it and just see if I can get the label on it.
So are we talking any specific issue? Because I see a few that are still marked as bugs, but they're very old. So can we at least take them down? Because I would rather prefer that we don't have any bugs, outstanding bugs before we tag it. So for example, 288 was opened by Bruno in 2020. Is that still valid?
288.
And for example, 404 has been around for a long time. Is that one ready?
Well, let me check this one. I'm checking 288.
So the service groups PR that we just merged addresses 408 as well. So I'll mark that one as done.
Is the project the GitHub project you're referring to, is it closed or private?
Which one?
Oh,
Well,
I
the
thought
other
I'm
project-
sharing the repo, the page. Are you not able to see my screen?
No, you still show Google Docs.
I see the Google
Oh.
Docs. Yeah.
Oh, that's my bad. Okay, I thought I was sharing my screen, but rather it's only sharing the specific page. Okay, I change it now.
Um,
Do you see it now,
Yeah.
Marcus?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. My bad. I was thinking that I'm sharing, but
Okay, I think that 288 is still applies.
it's-
And that's because I think we usually don't have negative tests, so I guess they're also difficult to implement for the crypto library in there.
but why is it a bug? Is it a bug or is it an enhancement? Yeah,
Is anything
It
broken?
sh- It should be a bug. So the thing is that there is in storage.py there is an assert of this verify store signature. Now verify store signature returns returns 0 if invalid, and the #1 on error. Right, and so I guess 1 should be success, but assert evaluates a Boolean. So 1 and -1 are successful for assert. And so -1 is considered okay and should not be. I think that's the problem. So basically the int return value of verify store signature should be appropriately converted to a Boolean and then given to assert.
or you change the assert to a check equal to just 1, or is it, can it be anything
You're doing the conversion.
more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I mean, like instead of checking result greater than 0, you can just check result equal to yeah, result, yeah, I was saying result greater than 0, right? Yeah, assert argument. Yeah.
It should be that. Yeah.
So why don't we then make that change? It's a, do we need to check anything else?
For this one, I don't think so. It should be just that.
There are several others. We have not done a very good job of going back on some of these issues. So I'm just going through and cleaning them up as well.
So Bruno, can I request that you make the change and submit it here?
I can do that, yeah.
Should not be more than one line change, right?
It's 2 line changes
Okay,
because there
fair
are 2
enough.
occurrences.
Wow, that's rough.
It's double the work.
Okay, so you will take care of that. So Bruno to address 288. Where is my notes? Okay, so 288 will be taken care of. Okay, how about 195, Bruno? 195 and 158. Those are the only open bugs. Those are the only other open bugs.
So for 195,
You're not verifying all report fields for attestation in particular. You're not looking at the debug flag and
I remember we had a conversation on this. So the thing is that there is some revision to do there, but it's also true that this is not
it's not a bug, right?
production.
Yeah, it is not a bug. I mean, it's just that the period the TP only accepts attestation for some flags, and basically it is about defining the policy for attestation verification, right? As of now, we have a certain policy. You want to enhance that policy.
But that's critical.
No, no, but
So
that's not a bug. Like, how is it a bug?
um,
I'm going to change this from bug.
if you want to enforce certain properties and then you don't check you don't do the actual checks for those, well, arguably there is something missing. Although these are the sort of checks that should be done for a production ready
We are not production ready anyway.
tool, I guess. Yeah, we're not.
No, but even that's not the point, right? Like the Michael's original comment is that we are not verifying all the report fields for attestation. And my point is
that's the
that
point.
yes, my point is that yes, we choose to ignore it intentionally because that is our current policy for verification in PDO-TP. Whether the policy makes sense is a separate question.
Yeah, but it's also true that those checks are in the code. So it's not that we have a separate policy, you just implement the right one and you're done.
So if this is really just a couple of line fix, why don't we just get this done?
But I don't even
I don't
know
disagree with
what
the
he's.
enhancement thing, but why is this?
Yeah, but I don't even understand the details here. It says that we are not verifying all the report fields. So what fields are we expected to verify?
Yeah, this needs more
And-
documentation
Yeah,
for sure.
and why would we care, right? This, I mean, yeah, I don't even understand the relevance of the question in the context of a non-production repo like PDO.
Well, the production, non-production is irrelevant in this case. I
Okay,
don't
fair
really
enough,
care.
fair
I mean,
enough, fair enough.
the distinction between bug and enhancement, sure, I can get that. But Bruno, you have a responsibility to get in here and actually fill out what the details are on this. What's missing? What needs to be checked? What are the advantages we get from checking it?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, I will discuss this with Michael. So for some flags, yeah, you do the check and you're done. Thing is that we're also using sealed storage. So in that case, I'm wondering if we need further checks for the TCB version, for example. And yeah, that may be a little more I wouldn't say critical, but less obvious to check, I guess, since there may be updates.
So what we need from you is to get that, to just get that list
Clarity.
and get a little more detail on this.
Yeah.
By the way, there are a bunch of others on this list of issues that I need to go back to Marcella. So Prakash, you have a bunch of documentation things for the PDO TP.
That is true, yes.
Right. And kind of looking through them, they're all legitimate requests
Yes.
for it.
So
Anyway,
yes.
I would just say that, so the tagging of the release, we're thinking about this mostly because of the substantial work that was done so far, but
there's a huge functional.
arguably won't be the last one. So
no, Lord, no. What I want to know is, my question again is, are there outstanding things? I did not say, no, I'm not talking about bugs. The bug side of things is Prakash's criteria for it. My question is, if we're going to tag this, are there any issues out here that we want to put into the release before we tag it? I don't see anything in here that looks important enough to do that.
yeah, same.
I mean, there's a lot of useful, interesting things to do,
thing.
but this list could be much longer if we actually captured everything we're trying to do. But I'm comfortable with where we're at. I think we've made a major step function in functionality with the hardware support in Docker. And I think we should just mark it that way. So that's where I'm at. I think Prakash's question is good, which is, okay, if we're really going to claim that we've made a step function in hardware support, are there other things that have to be in there before we make that claim? I don't see anything.
Well, and if you miss something, you just push out
We fix it.
3.1 next week or in
You
2.
got it.
I think that's, yeah, I would definitely, I just move forward with this. I mean,
Marcus, I love your approach to tagging.
Thank you.
Just throw another one out there. What does it matter?
yeah, no, I mean, seriously, I mean, just a tag. And I mean, you can go whatever version number you want in the end of the day. So, well, from my experience in FPC, we did the mistake that we said, well, we would like to work on release version 1.0, which is a big milestone for the project. It looks nice, it sells very good, right? And then we pushed out RC1. Now we are at RC3, I believe, and we could do this RCX forever, I believe.
You got it.
But yeah, I mean, but still, I mean, we went
Or just declare it done.
we went in this direction 1 point something, and unless so you are in the lucky situation where you're at 0 point something, and you can do this until 0.100 and do it forever without, I mean, losing anything. Just no, I think this is good. I really mean that
Yeah.
you're in a nice situation. I mean, if you feel you have a nice feature implemented, tag it and share it. Bam.
Yeah.
If you realize 2 weeks later, oh shit, I screwed up something, get the
Fix
next
it and do it again.
exactly get the 3.1, 3.2, 3 whatever release out. That's fine. I mean, it's better than handling with git tags or no git commit hashes.
But I think we're using, aren't we using the, oh, yes, for that. The versioning scheme that Michael introduced in here uses the commit number off as the final dot release. But okay, so here's where I would like to go to on our tagging is if the minor version number changed when we needed updates for PDO contract. That would be mine. Because the Docker images, because we're using the Docker images against the specific build that's being kind of a pain in the butt to do versioning on it.
Oh, you mean updating the lower version if something changes in the other repo, basically.
Correct. That's right now it's being kind of a pain to do the updates because we have to track the updates every time we update PDO.
Do you
And I would
automate
rather
this somehow?
I'd get off this. What's that?
Do you automate this somehow, this synchronization?
Yeah, if you well, it's not synchronization. There's a count of commits since the last tagged release. Like I said, this is Michael's magic code. It actually kind of works. But if you're trying to do version numbers on Docker images, it becomes a real pain. Because it changes on every commit, even if nothing, I mean, the Docker version number changes even if you've done nothing for it. And I'd like to go back and tag the Docker images just with the major minor version and not the commit number.
But you're not pushing the Docker images somewhere, no?
No, well, we
Yes.
are internally.
Okay.
If somebody unrelated to Intel wanted to push Docker images up to Docker Hub, they could do it, but we're not allowed to.
Got it.
I don't know who would be able to do that, but we
I
can.
have no clue.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds insane.
Yes. I'm not commenting on internal policies.
No, but again,
But I'll give you a dirty look. I'll give them a dirty look.
So, but how do you synchronize the dependency between your two projects now? Do you do some magic?
Right now, private data objects is a submodule in the contracts. And so the version that is the version number that we pull for the image dependency is pulled out of the subcontract. And the Docker in the contracts repository actually can build directly out of the submodule if it needs to build the PDO containers or images out of the submodule if it needs to. But that's kind of a pain if we're trying to pull stuff from a repository where we don't want to keep pushing stuff continuously.
Right. I mean, so what I was also looking into something similar recently, and I was wondering how to do that. But I also was thinking, okay, I have one main repo, which where an extension or a dependency lives in another repo, but you don't want to manually update the extension repo whenever you have a nice release on the main one. But
Right.
so what I saw in Fabric, they have something that changes on the main repo can trigger PRs, including auto merges on sub repos. And so what you could essentially do here, I mean, you can do this for every commit merge into the main or on a tag that you then trigger the creation of a PR on your sub repo.
In order to update it.
Calling a script, which then, I mean, I don't know, does the git submodule version change or whatever. Something like that would be handy, I believe, in this situation.
So do you have a reference for how they do that? Is there a place I can look in the Fabric code for it?
I would
Because
need to,
yes, that would be a really convenient thing to do.
yeah.
GitHub Copilot.
Frickin' no. Sorry.
I don't know.
You're really doing your job pushing buttons this morning, Bruno. Marcus, a little context. I am no fan of the co-pilots. So there is an ongoing project for people to start using GitHub Copilot just to see if it improves efficiency. And
Well,
let's just say that I'm completely underwhelmed. What's that?
For certain things, I can imagine that this works nice. I mean, if I think
Yeah.
about front-end development, well, if the button on the screen goes a little bit more to the right, it's totally fine for me if the Copilot generates this code. For security-related code,
Hmm,
I'm getting nervous now.
yeah. Although there was, okay, this is totally has nothing to do with BDO, but there was a really interesting paper from I think it's from the University of Michigan group on using GPT-4 for generating pre-release manipulation of security bugs. If the implication is really what I think it is, it's kind of frightening. But the discussion around it was Copilot can't write code that works 99% of the time. Why do we expect it to work on, clever little insights like this? I was like, okay, we'll see. All right. Prakash, do we have anything else?
Yeah. So I just flashed 158. This is the only other open bug that I see in the list of issues. So again, I don't understand this.
Leave this
Bruno?
one alone. I don't know if this actually is an issue any longer. So
Yeah, I think that, so I am not sure, but I think we can close this as stale, at least stale, or maybe not a bug, because
Stale.
so
No longer
because we switched
relevant.
to,
hang on. I would say just leave it alone for the moment, because this is
Okay.
really about when the e-service starts up, it has to register itself with the ledger. This is not a hardware related bug per se.
Yeah, so please go on. I still don't understand what is the punchline.
That's it. If
Yeah, but
we
it-
have no timeout, we have no timeout on the invocation to do the registration. So it hangs forever.
right. At least it used to, because I think this was related to Sawtooth. Now, if this is true for CCF as well, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
right now.
Because the submitter code is a lot different now.
Uh,
So
yeah, so that,
I would leave it as open, but it's low priority. Because there are other ways to address this. Like you just check to see if the e-service is hung and then you mark it as not functioning. That's how it works right now.
so this is
It is a bug. It's a low priority bug. It does not need to be fixed.
okay. So you're saying it applies even in non-hardware mode, in simulation
Yeah,
mode.
this has nothing to do with it. The
And
behavior before was if the e-service would just literally sit there on the connection forever. I don't know if it's Sawtooth related or if it's just the way we're using the request library and we just need to add the timeout.
okay, but if that
Little
happens,
fail.
can that e-service be used for
No,
like
and we
I think
always
I can-
detect it and we kill it if it's not responsive. We implement to be clear, there is a timeout, but the timeout is an external timeout. If the e-service is not
Which
responding
is-
to requests within 10 seconds, we kill it.
Okay, so then
It's
why
still a
is it-
bug.
It's the
right?
it's the
It's still a bug.
human enforced timeout.
That's, well, no, it's not. It's a deployment script enforced timeout. It is a bug. It should stay in there. It does not need to be fixed for this release. It's been in there for 5 years, right? It absolutely is a bug.
I still don't understand why.
So you're sure it still applies, this one, even now?
No, we need to go back and check it, but I'm
Okay,
pretty sure it still does.
okay, I'm not sure, so.
Okay, so we'll
Okay,
just
leaving
leave
this
that.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
just
we'll
leave
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
That
okay.
it needs to be if you want to add something in there, we just need to just mark it as we need to re-verify.
158 open as a bug for now. Low priority.
Yep.
Okay.
But
And your point is
there are
that
bigger
this
fish
bug
to fry
was
than this one.
this bug was this was really observed in the sawtooth days, but not observed in CCF days.
No, it's still observed today. If I start
Okay.
something, if I start the e-services using my start script and the ledger's not available, they will hang. And they get fixed because we have the external process that says, hey, wait, the e-service hasn't responded in 15 seconds to any of my requests. The e-service must be down. Let me just kill it.
So, but
And so I kill it
what
and
is
move
your
on.
expected behavior? What is your expected behavior?
There should be a timeout on the connection. I mean, it's just incomplete networking code.
Okay. But I have seen with CCF, I have seen when you start an e-service and it says waiting for e-service to start, after a while it says I've seen issues, I've seen connections, I've seen like error messages such as like CCF like incorrect certificate or incorrect endpoint or certificate does not have the right IP.
Yep.
So it gives like CCF rated errors
No.
also.
Those are certificate errors. That just means that you got the wrong cert copy. Do you have an old copy of the ledger certificate?
Okay, so
That's
you
not
want
the
an
same as the
yeah.
thing is just not there.
Okay, so you want so you want an error, you want a 404 equivalent error where it is not available.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just we need to verify that it's actually broken. We need to actually go in and put the little timeout. It's 5 lines of code if we ever get around to fixing it. It will take a hell of a lot longer to reproduce it consistently than it will to fix it. So, but we have workarounds, so it's not a problem.
Okay. So given all of that, so the only thing that we need to really discuss is whatever we just marked as what was that, 188 we marked as enhancement from bug about
I
adding
think it was 288, right?
288. Yeah. No, 288 is still a bug. Still remains. Bruno has Bruno I think will fix that. That's what at least I understood. That the one on CCF, the debug flag, right? Something like that. I cannot even find where it is now.
There's a set of flags that need to be tested.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the only thing. Yeah. Okay. That and Bruno's 288. Okay. So is it fair to say that once we address those two, we will tag it?
No, I
So
don't think
288, I would say yes, this should be 2 lines. I guess I can add that and that's
Okay.
it. For the other one, I would say no. I will discuss that with Michael and add some more clarity in the issue.
Okay.
And we'll go from there again.
Thank you.
That's good. Okay, so you're gonna let us know when the PR is done and then we'll tag it and we'll go. For
Yeah.
288. Okay,
And is your idea make that at some point the PDO contracts repo submodule will only use tagged versions of PDO and not untagged versions?
that is the ideal is that it only uses tagged versions and its dependencies for Docker are on the tag version numbers, not the GitHub commit numbers. That's the ideal. It would
That's
make
good. Yeah. Yeah.
if we want to use a repository, we need to get there.
Yeah.
And
Makes
if we
sense.
want to use a Docker hub, we need to get to that point, and we're not
Yeah.
there yet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But this
Which
is a
to
good
Marcus's
first.
point,
This-
point means it's okay to just tag a lot more things, and as soon as you get a significant function increase, you just drop
s-
it. That we're setting kind of a too high bar for
S-
tagging.
So if so, is it fair to say that if we are going to push to Docker Hub, assuming that we have all the approvals, right? Let's assume that.
It doesn't matter
Uh,
whether it's Docker Hub or internal.
No,
We
no,
have an internal repository that I can't use because we update the versions too much.
right, but our candidate will be what we tag now.
I have no idea what that means.
Candidate for the Docker image, the candidate for the PDO repository from where
No,
you're going
we
to
are
make the
not
Docker
ready
image.
in contracts. We're not ready in contracts. We're not ready with our tagging policy to be able to do anything like that. We push stuff out to the repo and it works. We just have to make sure that the stinking version numbers match up, and that's a pain. We are not ready with our processes to be able to drop back to a version-based, Docker image version based exclusively on the major minor version in PDO.
Okay.
That's process more than it is. It's our development process more than it is code. It has nothing to do with the code.
Okay.
So I don't think there's anything. There's nothing else to do right now. There's an ideal that we need to work towards, but there's a lot of machinery in our processes that have to be there before we do that. So. Can I switch gears for just a second? Because I do have another question about Jupyter testing. So one of the things, okay, so this is kind of from Michael and Bruno. Bruno never does Jupyter testing anyway, so it's kind of irrelevant for him, but he likes to complain about it anyway. In fact, it never stops him from complaining about it, even though he never does it. Okay, so actually this is, Bruno's comment was, hey, if it's not automated in the CI, it's not broken. Which I remind him there are no ledger tests or registration tests or attestation tests whatsoever. So as far as I'm concerned, decap support works because there's no tests that fail. When it comes
And I am the one complaining.
and you're the one complaining. Okay, so
I'm the one complaining. Yeah, sure.
okay. Anyway, to be a little bit more clear, with the Jupyter stuff, there's no easy way to do automated testing, so we're not going to be able to put it into a CI. We sort of can because they're all kind of scripts, but because so much of what we're doing is interactive, there's no real way to do that. My proposal, and this was kind of how I was sitting down to work through the multi-user stuff, was to actually put together some scripts for what to do, what to click on, what to put in the different boxes in order to be able to run through a test. That kind of script should describe what we expect to work from the user interaction through Jupyter. My proposal is that we add for each of the contract families a docs/test subdirectory or Docs notebook test, which has a series of scripts in it that somebody who wants to do Jupyter testing can walk through those scripts and expect that everything in the script works. By script, I mean user script, that's not a Python file. So it basically be open the Exchange factory for issuer, click run all, type in, the user information and the keys. You should see this button down at the bottom. Click on that button, hit run all again. You should see this button, click this button, and you should be able to do the following thing in order to verify it's correct. So more like traditional test plans that you would get for other interactive applications. So my proposal is that we put test directories in there with a sequence of actions that you should be able to perform. And if it's in the test directory, we expect it to work. So the build is broken for Bruno's sake if you click on all of the things that this thing says and it doesn't get the answer you're expecting. So you become a human CI machine, Bruno.
So I have a question. I have a question. No, are you saying that as of now we have a run test or a script test kind of an automate test that we automate over, right? With make test, right? I mean,
Correct.
if we want a JIT CI, it is going to be like over make test, not make test Jupyter. That is the first point that you're making, right?
No, what? Okay, the automated CI, as you said, is over the scripted testing.
Yes, that's
Right,
with the make
okay.
test.
Now
That's
hang
with
on,
make test. Yeah.
Right, but let's be clear. The scripted testing tests the contracts. It does not test the notebooks.
That is correct. That is correct. So now the next question, but that is correct. But even then, what we do not test is a multi-user setup.
No,
Even
I'm not even getting to the multi-user setup.
okay.
How do
you're
I
not
know? How do I know that your inference contract worked? That the Jupyter interface to your inference contract works?
even before you decide to run it?
I mean, the first thing is you got to tell me what constitutes correct operation, right? And then the second thing is I need to be able to reproduce what your expected interactions are and verify that the result I get is the same as as what you expect me to get.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it's a cookbook, it's a recipe. Click on this button, click on this file, click on this button, type this in here. And when you do that, here's the number that should come out.
So, but we can add that as part of the notebook itself, right? Saying that.
No. The notebooks are the interface. They're not part of the test. The tests are separate. Because the minute you put the test in the notebook, you're screwed.
So you're saying
you've
that
got self-truth. I want you to tell me what should work.
Right. So we are anyway loading the Jupyter notebook for them. They're not
The
changing the
notebook is
Jupyter
not a
notebook.
test. The notebook is an interface. The notebook is not a test.
No, that's correct. But you want test notebooks. Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't say anything about test notebooks. I just said, give me a markdown file that has a sequence of steps in it. And that's it.
Okay,
It's
saying
documentation.
like
Bruno should be able to read that in one window and be able to have his Jupyter interface in another window and should be able to click through as he reads the document in one window.
that is correct. So my only question is why can't the contents of that markdown file be part of the Jupyter notebook itself? It's just
why
text.
should it be a part of? Because you just put testing into an interface. Why would I want test instructions in the interface? The Jupyter Notebook is not a test. The Jupyter Notebook is the interface. This is what a human being who is not related to this project should be able to use in order to interact with the contracts. Why the hell would I put testing inside that. I want to have a test plan which says my interface should perform the following functions and it should do them correctly.
Would be great if we could do something like in Go, that you add a same file underscore test, and that's the other file for the test. I don't know if it's
I would,
possible here.
so I agree with you. That would be really nice, but I don't think there's any way to do that because it's a sequence of operations that you're performing across multiple files.
Yeah, I think I
I mean,
understood.
I mean, I agree. So let me just, I mean, I can pull up what I have for a test plan. Can I? Okay, this is
So
really gonna suck.
My comment here is that it's not bad. At least it gives me something to me or anybody else to go through and do some tests. The usual problem is that the developer should keep these test instructions and the code in sync, which is the usual problem that we
Yes.
have in keeping in sync with the documentation.
Yep.
We have to try to be diligent in that case, I guess.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can. Stop that. No, I really just want to go to my own repo.
And by the way, we're on top of the hour as well.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to, this will just, if I do this right, it shouldn't.
Yeah, but Marcus has the whole night to stay with us. So.
Yeah, Marcus can hang out. He's got nothing else happening after this anyway, right?
Exactly. I mean, dinner doesn't count. The
course
dog
not.
also does not want to go outside.
Right. So it's perfect.
Oh yeah, exactly. So I could stay forever. No, but it would be nice to leave you guys now alone. But before I leave, I can send you the pointer to the GitHub actions triggering a commit on a different repo in Fabric.
Yeah, that would be good. Oh, there it is.
I sent you here 2 links. This is about protocol buffers used in Fabric, so there's one repository where all the plain protobuf files are, and whenever a commit is pushed to this repository, then the source is built, and then they produce protobuf bindings for Go, Java, and Node.js. And the GitHub actions there, I sent you the one for Go, then commits the compiled protobufs into another GitHub repository.
Okay.
And the only caveat, which maybe is tricky to set up, is that you have to set up a deployment key in the PDO repository on the contracts repository, so that the script from the PDO repository can commit into the contract repository.
Ooh.
And
okay, well,
maybe
okay, I
this
will
week-
look through that. I'm sure I will have more questions for you once I get done
Yeah,
looking through that.
most probably that will require the help of Rye to set those keys up. Maybe we
Right.
don't have those permissions, but you can definitely play with this on your local fork of those 2 repositories. That should
Okay.
work.
Okay. Marcus, thank you very much.
My pleasure. All right, so I will leave you guys now.
Okay, thanks.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Marcus.
I need, thanks,
Bye.
Marcus. Just 2 more minutes, Prakash. This is what I was looking for. Right, so this is what I set up in order to be able to test the multi-user stuff, but we need it for every other expectation that we have. What's the scenario? What are we trying to demonstrate with it? And just, I mean, literally, it's just a set of steps to go through for it. This is a little more focused on my work because there's a bunch of tasks that are associated with making sure that the test works.
Yeah, so
But just a
that's
simple scenario that works through, this should not be a part of the notebook.
no. That's what I was asking. So you were saying you want to test a Jupyter. That's why my original question was about the multi-user itself, right? So
It
it's
has
not about
that, but it has nothing to do with multi-user. We should have these for every one of our expectations. You should have one. Your current inference does not have a multi-user aspect to it, but you
That
have
is-
expectations for what works and what shouldn't. So go document what should work in a way that Bruno can reproduce what you've done. It has nothing to do with multi-user or not. This one, this is a multi-user test, but I'm going to go back and write them for every other one that we have.
okay. That is fair. This
It
is
has
very
nothing
good.
to do with multi-user,
Yeah,
right?
this is
It's
no, but
how do I give Bruno a document that says, Bruno, this is what you should do, and this is how you decide if it works. That's what we need.
yeah, it
And we
is
don't have
more.
that right now.
Is it more in the spirit of how to use the notebooks appropriately?
No, it's about how you test it. It's about how you tell Bruno what should work in your notebook.
I still don't understand, because if it's a standalone notebook, it's a sequence of
It's
command.
not a
You go-
notebook. This is not a notebook. This is a Markdown file.
No. That's my point is, if you are expecting to test one notebook, a notebook is it's a sequence of commands. So you go and execute it
That's
one
exactly,
by one.
but that's exactly what I'm doing. If you look through here and you read what I just put up here, it's a set of steps that you have to take with the notebooks.
No, my point again is, if it's only one notebook that you're interacting
You're not
with,
testing one notebook. Your
Right, so-
notebook touches the token issuer, it touches the token issuer template, it touches the token template. It touches multiple contracts underneath it.
correct. But anytime when I interact with the notebook, I'm only executing the cells of one notebook in a sequence.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're executing a number of things sequentially. Go write down what you expect Bruno to click on in order to be able to generate a token, and then to test that the token that he generated actually works.
No, I understand what you're doing here. The
I don't
process
think
gets-
I don't think you understand right now, because what you're describing right
No,
now has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
No, for inference, there isn't anything else, because all that you're doing.
Yes, you do. You have to open the inference notebook. You have to open the inference notebook with the token issuer. You have to click the run all. You have to specify a set of keys. Ultimately, you got to then turn around and run the sequence in the token issuer template notebook that you created.
No, but
Then
those
you
are
have
all
to
ins-
create the token objects,
No, but
and then you don't even tell me
No,
what-
no. But those are all instructions already in the notebook.
They
I'm
should not
u-
be in the notebook. That's what I keep saying.
What do you mean? The notebook has some
The
text and some
notebook is
code,
an
some text and some
interface.
code.
No. The notebook is an interface. You need to tell Bruno what steps he has to do and what should work. You're not doing it right now. You give him a notebook, but you don't tell him how to make it work or how to verify that it's working correctly. What constitutes a set of tests?
Okay, I have to
It's not
disagree
done,
here, because
right?
no, it's because a notebook already, in my opinion, is self-contained.
No,
Whether
it
the
is not.
notebook
The notebook is not
works-
self-contained. It does
the-
not
whether
describe
the-
what's correct and what's not correct.
Whether the notebook has been unit tested or not is a separate question.
That is not the point that I'm asking. That has nothing to do with what I'm asking. So let's just table this. I will write it for you. And I will give it to Bruno, and we'll see if
No,
Bruno can
n-
actually go through and verify the
Yes,
correctness.
but I would like to see it test like what you're saying for the Exchange notebook that's out there, not a multi-user. Yes, multi-user is a lot more complicated.
That's exactly right. The
It-
multi-user has to be done too. There is going to be one for Exchange. There's going to be one for there will be one for the issuer, there will be one for the token, there will be one for importing a token from a contract, there will be one for a bunch of other things. What I'm saying, Prakash, and what I am asking has nothing to do with this. At the top level, where should I put these tests? They are going to exist, and I will hold you accountable for writing ones for you. Where do I put them? That's my only question.
No,
My question is not whether you need it. You do need it. My question is where we put it.
It becomes, okay, I get what you're saying, in the sense that if we start to use IP widgets a lot more than what we are doing now,
It doesn't matter whether it's widgets.
Going to be this
it is exactly the same
buttons
situation with
everywhere.
every notebook.
If there are going to be buttons everywhere, then I need to know the exact sequence in
doesn't
which I
matter.
need to do things.
It does
Right?
not matter whether there are widgets or fields or other things like that. We need to know how to test your notebooks to make sure that it works. Nobody can, frankly, right now, nobody can test your notebook because none of us can actually get the file in the right place.
You just follow the instructions that's there in the notebook. There isn't anything else to do there. That's my whole
Where's
point.
the file? What's the name of the file? The notebook can't have the name of a file in it because it's an interface for general interactions.
No. You're being asked to input the name of the file.
Yes, but you don't tell me where the file is that I can test it or what the answer should be when I do test it.
Okay.
It's called a test plan. I mean, that's what it is. So, all right. We are all supposed to be at the SPR, or at least I'm supposed to be at the SPR project review. So I'm putting stuff, given that you're not answering my question, which is where should I put it? I'm not asking whether it should be done. It will be done. My question is, where should I put them? Should they be at the top level root directory or should they be in each of the contract families?
Looks like to me you are really asking for unit testing of notebooks. That's how I'm seeing.
I don't understand why you're not answering my question. Do you want the tests at the root directory, or do you want the tests in the notebooks for each of the contract families?
I would say inside each contract families. That's what I would prefer.
Bruno, do you have a preference?
Not really, so long as I can follow the instructions.
Okay, and I will put the instructions in there. And you, Bruno, are my target audience for this. So I need to have it at a level at which
guinea pig.
I need to have it at a level at which you know what to click and what should come back when you do click. So I'm not going to go down and say type this in here, but yes, more or less. So, all right. I got to go for the moment.
Yeah,
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.